What's up, everybody? It's GP, and today I want to talk about why God is invisible. This is obviously from my point of view, studying the word over the years, and I want to start with my two answers and then go into the explanation. Number one, God has revealed himself to mankind many times in many forms since creation. And number two, which is directly related to number one, even after God shows himself to us in one form or another, we still have to make a decision on whether we're going to believe that he's good and follow him. So on to number one. God has showed himself to mankind multiple times throughout the years, and we still sinned against him. Adam and Eve walked with God in the Garden of Eden, still sinned against God. Right after God flooded the whole earth because of sin, Ham sinned against his father Noah. Right after the flood, Moses had a face-to-face relationship with God, yet still sinned against God to the point he was not allowed to enter into the promised land. God revealed himself to the Israelites on Mount Sinai in a pretty impressive way. I mean, thunder and lightning and smoke, and they still sinned against him. Then God showed himself as a pillar of fire by night and a pillar of smoke by day, and the Israelites still sinned against him. God even came to the Israelites in the form of prophets, telling them what would happen in the future, and then that thing would happen, and the Israelites not only sinned against them, but killed all the prophets. God literally opened up the earth and consumed a certain section of the Israelites that had rebelled against Moses. And then the Israelites still turned around and sinned against them, even after watching those people fall into Hades. God came down here as a man himself. God came down as Jesus, performed miracles, prophesied stuff that ended up happening. I mean, even the destruction of the temple, and we still sinned against him. So today when we ask, why is God invisible, quote unquote, I think the answer is because it doesn't seem to matter whether he's physically present in some form or fashion or not. On to number two, which is directly related to number one. Even after God reveals himself, whether it's in a dream, whether it's by an angel physically showing up, whether he himself comes and Jesus reveals himself to you just like he did to Paul on the road to Damascus, you still have to choose whether you believe that he's a good God and you're going to follow him. Understand that not every non-believer today is a non-believer in the sense of they don't believe in God. There's a lot of Satanists who believe in God and still choose to follow Satan. Even many atheists I talk to have this attitude of, well, even if God was real, he's not the type of God I would follow. I myself used to think, God, just show yourself to me somehow and everything would be fixed. Like I'd follow you faithfully until the end day. Well, God hasn't shown himself physically to me, but I eventually came to have faith in Jesus Christ, and I still sin against God. So this notion we have that if God just reveals himself to me, I'll believe in him and then everything will be perfect from there is illogical. Romans chapter 1 says that God put the knowledge of himself inside of all creation. All creation. Every living thing knows who God is. Humans are just the ones dumb enough to deny him. Romans chapter 1 goes on to say that we all know this knowledge, we all have this truth, but some of us choose to suppress it. And when we suppress it, God then gives us over to the lies that we choose to believe. Because if you don't believe in God or you deny him, then you begin to believe in a lie. Because those are the only two choices, the truth and the lies. To be honest, I really started thinking about it one day, asking God to, send some kind of angel or appear to me. And when I read through the Bible, I realized how frightening it was for every single person that it happened to. And I really started to think, if an angel just popped out of nowhere, super bright, I'm going to freak out. So I eventually was like, you know what, God, I believe in you. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. I'm good on the angels popping out of nowhere. I don't need it. Save it for somebody else. I hope this video brought some clarity. Let me know what you think in the comments. God bless you guys.